This is a team kill, by the way.
Yes.
Very true. Both repping Tigers here. Tigers Bryan-D versus Jimmy DR. Guile versus Marisa. And interestingly enough, Jimmy DR backing off super early. I wonder, has Jimmy made the decision here to be like, well, I could try to go in, or I could just decide that I'll parry every fireball and it literally doesn't matter.
Right.
Hey, shout outs to Redmond for the raid. Thank you, buddy, for coming on the show. It was super fun with the latter portion, the little mini podcast we got going on. Super fun time.
You know what? If I'm Jimmy, I like this tactic. I mean, like I know from the outside looking in, this looks a little mundane, but honestly, Jimmy understands, like, hey, in order for me to get the big damage that I want, you're gonna have to commit to something risky.
Look, the reality is, oh my god, the counter DR out of Bryan-D, and what I was gonna highlight is exactly what happened here. In war, as old as time, siege tactics are a thing. Sometimes all you need is an inch at a time, pause, and to slowly gain ground or some sort of other, what would perceivably be an immaterial advantage. For as long as that fireball sequence was going on, Bryan-D was slowly gaining real estate on the screen. It was not a winning strategy for Jimmy DR. And when Jimmy was forced to make the call to earn space out of the corner, Bryan was the one that was ready to smoke them for it.
Bryan-D with the Spartacus tactics and Julius Caesar, and literally, hey, bombs, throwing them full screen, and literally, like, it kind of just like a little reversal of fortune. Like, Jimmy DR was like, I'll keep throwing them, and you're making the mistake. I'm the one who punished you for it. Good parry.
And that's the thing, right? Like, the game can devolve to this slow style where, you know, blocking a fireball, if you've got drive gauge and you're not at a life deficit, doesn't matter like it did in previous titles where chip damage applied off rip. So if you're not in the position where you have to care about these minute differences, you can just parry a fireball for 70 seconds. Oh no, with punish, just shy of it.
Okay, a little bit of push to the corner right here. I love the jump back air to air. Oh yeah.
Oh, goodbye.
Hey, and Marissa's I used to dream about this kind of stuff. Literally just whipping flash kick. And Jimmy DR has to be really, really careful about trying to Phalanx over these booms. Here we go. Not gonna get the medium conversion, but gonna find their way out of the corner, and Bryan-D.
Still, I like the patience out of Bryan. It seems like they're so willing to, it's like, all right, yeah, I get it. You've already demonstrated you want to play a slower game, and now that you're trying to up the pace, I'm going to expose you for it. You said it was a slow game. That's what's going to happen. But now Jimmy DR sitting at the life lead here in round 3 of game 1. Can you believe it's only just game 1 after watching IDOM versus Crossover, as explosive as that set was?
Yeah, these are two players that, you know, on the same team. I would assume that they played each other many a time. And wow, he says, bro, let's match step kick for step kick. Mine's is way better, man. Level 3.
Hit him with the government issue, and then the OD boom off rip. Bryan-D takes the first game off of just literally footsies.
Yeah, and I love the idea of Bryan-D going for the OD boom right there, just because he knew that, hey, Marisa could actually reaction level 3 this and go through it at this range.
You know what's OD about that overhead connecting there? Off of the DR and a flash kick, because Jimmy DR was in parry and had parried the boom, like, a lot of stuff that hits immediately after, like, you don't want to just hard commit to, like, a quick button. The fact of the matter is, that overhead had just enough of a time lag as well that it waited long enough for the parry to recover. And then that counter DI off of the Phalanx earns Bryan that round. A much more explosive start to game 2 than we had in game 1, but the footsie game out of Bryan-D looking immaculate. You reach, I teach.
Bryan-D literally punishing the very end of Gladius. Not that time though. And wow, burnout. And this is where Jimmy DR has to strike. Bryan-D has been real aggressive in the mid-screen game and the projectile, so Jimmy D has to stay fundamentally sound and get them in the corner for this stun combo. This should be big.
Into the level 3, it's not CA, but given that you're already a yellow life, think you're dead? Yeah.
Go ahead and walk up to him.
They don't. You don't bless them with the knuckles if it's not CA version. So Bryan-D just barely wins, but smart wake up jab out of Jimmy DR to try to clinch out that round, stymieing the flow of that offense just a hair. We are round 1 apiece again. You said you expect these players to play against each other a bunch. It is looking like it right now. The amount of micro adjustments we're seeing from the two of them. The demonstrations of Bryan-D with the spacing control on the ground and the immaculate footsies. He has to be super comfortable with this matchup, particularly operated by this player. Wake up level 3 as I see the charge of the limbs out of Marisa. Is that enough to go into CA? No, it is not. I'm sorry, to go into Burnout, rather. It is not in either case.
Yeah, Bryan-D clearly just like, hey, you're going to respect my wake up. Like, that's not like something that I'm going to let happen, right? With the charged heavy attacks. Jimmy DR, though, doesn't need that much. And yes, like I said, at this, oh my God, great flash kick on the dash. Like, at that range, with that deficit, Bryan-D is just going to get even more and more war of attrition, right? He's gonna be like, yo, I'm just gonna sit here, I'm gonna make sure that I spam projectiles once you're at that range. And look, you see just the wall that's like put up every time just Sonic Blade is put up and they're trying to drive rush in, but the DI off the punish counter and the life is getting erased, gets the whiff punish. A nigh perfect for Bryan-D going into the final game.
This has been a surgical dismantling of Marisa. You can see that Bryan-D has an answer for absolutely everything Jimmy is bringing to the table. If you use one of Marisa's options that doesn't beat DI, it's getting DI'd. He's standing at a range where if you do Gladius, you're getting whiff punished. If you do Phalanx, you're getting DI'd. If you walk forward, you're getting boomed. Right? It's the exact perfect spot on the screen. Stuck against the wall here now. All of that spacing control gone out the window. Just a tick of life left, and that is not going to be able to do it. Jimmy DR secures another round for himself.
Hey, that first hit of medium into stance command grab was a wild tick throw. I'm not going to lie to you. I've never seen that before. Jimmy DR using all the tactics available. Bryan-D going to get the overhead in the flash into level 3. Your drive rush isn't going to be gone, but you are in a bad way being full screen away from Bryan-D with this life deficit.
Yeah, and we're sitting on set point, but the parry pump into the fireball, Jimmy DR gets a huge jump into level 3, and what we all say about Marisa, all it takes is one mistake. Life almost even. Bryan at the wall, about to be burnt out. Man is not allowed to block, and accordingly, he eats it with his chin and loses out for it, gives a round to Jimmy, knows that it's checkmate no matter what he does.
Hey, it's a special forbidden scroll when you're staggering medium target combo. Like literally you hit one medium, you stagger it, and then you go for the regular medium, bro. Like it's wild. Like, and Jimmy DR seems to have found the formula once they get in, but getting in is the hard part. Bryan-D is having a field day with the projectiles right now with the life lead, and this is the opening great jump in from Jimmy DR.
Yeah, part of the adjustment here from Jimmy DR has been a much better vertical game here, but step kick loses out to the DI. Is Bryan gonna have to commit? Yes, has to spend the level 1 to close out that round, but being back on set point, hugely important. Let's see if Jimmy DR's jump timing is gonna continue to be problematic for Bryan. No whiff punish on the whiff throw.
Hey, be careful about your charged limbs. Like, Bryan-D is waiting for an opportunity to OD flash kick just like them, but low drive gauge for Bryan-D right now, so you got to be really careful about how you're blocking these attacks. They've been really good in the corner about parrying some of these charged Gladiuses, but the air-to-airs, the Phalanx to get over the fireball, immaculate, and gonna get the big combo here. Gonna go for the safe jump setup. Yes.
Yup. One more touch will do it. Overhead connects, closing out the round critically, not having to spend any resources, sitting at level 3 going into round 3 here of game 4, and a huge jump in off rip. Yeah, don't spend the level 3 just yet, right? No, we want to get that corner control first. Wait for it. Finds the anti-air, and Bryan-D back against the wall, having a really hard time. OD flash kick still recovers in time
gone.
as Jimmy DR is able to... Yeah, the level 3 is going to be enough to do it, right? You are absolutely right. He is gone. Gone like the wind.
Hey, the triangle button on the pad must be broken. Has to be. It has to be. Well, the amount of times Bryan-D, even the amount of times Jimmy DR, even through a trade combo, has just been like, you know what, I'm gonna just mash medium and get what I want anyway. So whenever Doctor told me that back fierce was the worst possible option for Marisa, I'm starting to think that, yeah, they're absolutely right. Doctor was absolutely correct in that instance, because like this medium has been cashing out big time for Jimmy DR and put him back in the set.
Oh, nice little auto spacing, but no! I don't know if that was supposed to be a confirm or what have you, but Bryan-D gets the better of that exchange as Jimmy overcommits that one bar. Real shame here on what has been a crazy comeback so far from Jimmy DR.
There you go, Jimmy DR trying to hold steady here, but Bryan-D said, as I've had just about enough of getting punched in the midsection by you, Marisa, and literally throwing the booms and getting the flash kick right there. So Bryan-D, one round away. And these jump-ins have been insane from Jimmy DR. Jimmy DR might need to take Marisa to the NBA. I ain't gonna lie to you. The hops have been immaculate.
Absolutely. Okay, not throwing. Vaughn gets the punish counter. Bryan-D sitting really secure. Jimmy DR burns themselves out. This is really problematic, but Bryan-D commits to a resource right at the tip of the Gladius range, gets smoked out for it, now has the life deficit, and needs to push Jimmy back to the corner in order to earn the stun that I think they really wanted to try to close this out. That's not enough for the stun, and Jimmy DR manages to get through that burnout unscathed, comes out the other side with the life lead.
Hey, level 3 is available right here for Bryan-D, waiting for an opportunity. A big mistake from Jimmy, perhaps a jump, but any solid combo right now. He's trying to get the level 3 out, get the maximum damage in burnout. Oh my goodness.
Having corner control here is huge for Jimmy. Bryan commits to the level 2, wants to get more mileage and more chip out of this burnout, but this is still so scary. The level 2 gone, gets smoked on the jump in. You spent 2 bars to not secure the round. Jimmy DR on the verge of a reverse 3-0 and another brilliant jump. So many of these are being predicated by an empty parry pump. It's like Jimmy is living rent-free in Bryan's head.
Yep, we see Bryan-D going for the lows right here, trying to just snuff out Gladius, and literally Jimmy DR's, oh, the offense in the corner has been immaculate. Trying to go for the jump reset, not going to be able to get the jab, not going to be able to get the command grab. You have level 3 available. Watch your projectiles, my friend. Marisa can go right through those.
Yeah, look at the pump from this. Oh, what a DI in response to the DR. Overhead reset right into the level 3. Is that going to be enough? Did Bryan secure this? I think that it is.
Oh my god. Okay. Gets the screen flash, but one for the cinematics. Bryan-D gonna be able to edge that out. What a set between these two, and literally Marisa, like the DI came in clutch more than Bryan-D will ever know, even though he was throwing the move. Like that right there has literally been Bryan-D's just saving grace. It's just like literally just enough, man.
That might be one of my favorite sets of Street Fighter 6 that we've had here at the Casa so far, that I, at the very least, that I have had the privilege to sit down and commentate and watch. That was absolutely insane. Could not have been closer, but Bryan secures it. Secures a winner's finals of Bryan-D versus Crossover RD. Banjo, I have a question for you.